What kind of lunch boxes are you planning to make for the weekend's field day? I'm curious because I know it's an important event and you always make such great lunches. Oh, hey, Jenna. Well, the field day lunchbox, I haven't fully decided on the menu yet, actually. I'm still in the process of thinking it through. This year is extra special because it's Angelica's first field day since she entered elementary school. Both sides of the grandparents will be coming, so I want to make sure I prepare something that feels right for the occasion. So I'm trying to come up with a meal that's both delicious and a little more festive than usual. It's been a bit of a challenge trying to come up with ideas, but I'm sure I'll figure it out soon. Oh, wow, that sounds exciting. The first field day. Oh, I can totally see why you'd want to make something extra special. You said both sets of grandparents are coming too? That's a lot of people to consider, huh? So what do you think you'll include? I mean, you said it would be something decent, but I'm dying to know more. What kind of things are you planning? Yeah, it's a lot to do, but I'm really looking forward to it. As for the menu, I'm thinking I'll include some things that I know everyone will enjoy. For sure, I'm planning on fried chicken. It's a lunchbox classic in my family, right? I think it's always a safe bet, and it's something both kids and adults like. Then I'm thinking about including egg sandwiches, simple but tasty. Oh, and some apple slices. I want to make sure I have some fruits in there to balance out the savory items. Those things are pretty much confirmed at this point, but I'm still figuring out the other details. I'll probably add some veggies too, like little cherry tomatoes, maybe some broccoli. I want to have a good mix of flavors, and I think that'll make a lunchbox look even more appealing. Oh, that sounds so good! I love that you're including some veggies too. You know, it's so important to have a balance. But hey, wait, you mentioned fried chicken and sandwiches? Oh, that sounds amazing, but I was actually hoping you'd include sausages too. You know, the kind of sausages that are perfect for lunchboxes. I think they're such a great addition, don't you? Oh yeah, I completely agree. It's actually a great idea, and I think I'll definitely add them in. I'm glad you suggested it. I hadn't thought of it yet, but now that you mention it, it would make the lunchbox even better. Definitely adding sausages. Yes, I'm so happy that you're going to include sausages. I can already imagine how good that's going to look. But, speaking of the fried chicken, I have to let you know my kid doesn't really handle oil or flour well. You know how some kids have issues with greasy food? My kid's one of those. It's not a huge problem, but I figured I should let you know so you can plan accordingly. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'll definitely keep that in mind, though. Since my kid likes other things like salmon and tuna, you could probably replace the fried chicken with more of those. You could make those options a little bigger. How does that sound? Wait, hold on a second. I never promised to make the lunchboxes for you. I only shared my menu because you asked. You're the one who asked about it, so I was just telling you what I was thinking. I wasn't agreeing to make a lunchbox for everyone, especially since I've got my own family to take care of. What? But you've been going on and on about what you're making. After hearing all of that, I thought for sure you'd be making the lunchboxes for us too. I mean, you were practically bragging about it. I just assumed you were offering to help. Isn't that what neighbors do? Help each other out? Bragging? I was just sharing my ideas. I never said I'd make the lunchboxes for anyone else. You can't just assume that I'm going to do everything for you just because I mentioned what I'm making for my family. This is my responsibility, and I'm doing it for my own family. Oh, come on. You know how tough it is to make lunchboxes, especially for a whole family. It's a huge job. You said yourself that you were going to make something decent, so why not help us out too? It's not like I'm asking for a whole new meal from scratch, just a little help. Look, I get it. It's hard. But I work just as much as you do. I work 4 days a week, and I'm working the day before the field day too. So I'm not in a position to just whip up a bunch of extra lunchboxes for everyone. But honestly, I think Liz would appreciate having a lunchbox that you made, don't you? I'm sure she'd love that more than anything. That's not the point. I'm just asking you to help out, and it's not fair to leave me to do everything on my own. It's just one more thing added to the pile of stress. I understand, but I can't make any promises. I'm preparing my own family's meal, and I think that should be enough. You'll figure it out, just like everyone else does. Well, you're really not helping. If you're not going to make it for us, then I guess I'll just have to figure it out on my own. Yes, you will. Good luck with that. Also, I'm blocking you until the day of the event then. What? Wait a minute, seriously? Diane, Jenna, I'm telling you, no matter what you say, I won't make it. Jenna, this is so unfair. You promised you would make lunch for us too. Why didn't you make it? Because of you, we ended up with the convenience store lunch. When I got home, my mother-in-law and husband yelled at me so much. The whole situation was a disaster. I never promised that. I clearly said no. You did promise. No, I didn't. You blocked me without asking and forced the conversation to end, didn't you? Don't you feel bad for Liz? I thought you were at least a decent person, but now I see it's just all talk. You didn't even consider how I felt. You just went ahead and did whatever you wanted, didn't you? Aren't you just trying to get your way by using your child as a shield? You're trying to guilt-trip me into doing what you want by playing the mother card. As a mother, don't you think that's a bit much? Is that really how you want to raise Liz, by manipulating people to do what you want? Shut up! By the way, Diana, didn't you try to take credit for the lunch I made? Don't even pretend you didn't. What? What are you talking about? I heard from a mom who used to be at the same kindergarten as Liz that you did the same thing at the kindergarten sports day. Don't try to act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Huh? What does that have to do with anything? Apparently, it was a success back then, but the families who were affected had to put the lunch in a big container and then serve it into smaller plates to eat. They were trying to share the lunch, but you took that big container, loudly proclaimed, "I made lunch for someone's family," and showed off to everyone. You acted like you were the one hosting the meal, eating it without any hesitation. You didn't even leave any for anyone else. How is that acceptable? Huh? No, that's not true. You've got it all wrong. But this time, contrary to what you expected, I prepared individual lunch boxes for everyone, and they were separated from the start. I even gave them out to everyone before lunchtime. There was no opportunity for anyone to take the lunch from someone else. And naturally, there was only lunch for my family. Thanks to that, your lunch-stealing tactic didn't work this time. What? For a field day lunch, you're supposed to have a big container of lunch boxes, right? To divide it up into individual portions from the start is just crazy. Who even thinks of doing that? You have completely lost it. My husband's family always did it like that, so I just followed their way. It's not a big deal. That's called being a slave to your mother-in-law. It's foolish to just obey her even though she's your enemy. Why would you let someone control you like that? Don't you have a mind of your own? My mother-in-law also had her lunch stolen during her child's kindergarten field day, and the next year she almost had it happen again. So after thinking it through, she came up with a way to protect herself, and I just copied that method. It wasn't my idea, but it was the right choice. Huh? What are you talking about? Hearing all this, don't you remember anything? Does any of this sound familiar? What are you talking about? What does my mother-in-law have to do with anything? My mother-in-law said that she remembered your face when she saw you at the field day. She recalled the incident where the lunch was stolen, and apparently it was all your fault. She said you're just like your mother. Is that really so surprising? What? How could you possibly know that? Apparently you look just like your mom when she was younger, not just in appearance, but even the way you speak. Your mannerisms, everything about you, it's all the same. Isn't that a pretty harsh judgment based on just that? You can't judge someone just by their looks or the way they talk. Maybe it's just someone who happens to look like her, right? Then, do you remember a boy named Sam? Huh? Who? If your mother-in-law was a target for lunch stealing, then her child must be my husband, Sam. How do you not see that? Wait, what are you saying? My husband still clearly remembers what happened. He was really looking forward to eating the sausages, but ended up having them all taken by you. When he cried and asked for them back, you just laughed and ate them all. Doesn't that make you feel even a little bit guilty? That little brat was your husband? Seriously? Are you really saying this to me? My husband was horrified by how bold you and your mother were. He felt a chill even as a child. He's never forgotten that moment, and neither is my mother-in-law. And you're telling me this is the first you've heard of it? This is so old. Why are you bringing this up now? That was years ago. The people who were affected usually remember it very well. You don't just get to brush it off like it never happened. By the way, don't you feel embarrassed about your mother and daughter both making these lunch-stealing claims for generations? Don't you feel even a little ashamed of it? What? I don't care about my mom's story. This is about you not making lunch, and now look what happened. You've ruined everything. I was known as Diana, who loves to cook, until now, and now it's all destroyed. You've made a fool of me in front of everyone. Well, it seems like all the other moms already knew about it. What do you mean by that? They knew about what happened with your mom, and they also knew about what you did at the kindergarten field day. How could you not have known this? What? So even if you had stolen my lunch this time and claimed it as your own, it wouldn't have impressed anyone. The other moms would have already figured it out, so your "I'm a capable mom" act wouldn't have worked. They would have seen right through it. Wait, no! Actually, the rumors would have gotten worse, and in the end, it would have been better for you to learn this lesson, even if it was a bit painful. At least now, you have no choice but to face the truth. You're lying, right? This can't be true. Well, now that your kid's in elementary school, it's time to face the reality. Don't think you can keep pulling these stunts forever. No way, this can't be true. I've had enough of you. I'm blocking you now. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Wait, are you seriously blocking me? This is how you solve everything? What happened to all that talk about fairness and honesty? I can't believe you're doing this. Jenna? Jenna! Diana was what you might call a terrible cook wife. She was fully aware of her cooking skills, or rather, her lack of them. In fact, she tried to hide it as much as possible, particularly from her husband. Diana did not want to disappoint him, and certainly she didn't want to reveal the extent of her culinary shortcomings. So she devised a clever but dishonest solution. She would buy pre-made side dishes from stores, carefully arrange them on the dinner table, and present them as though she had cooked them herself. It was her little secret, one that she believed would keep her marriage intact and prevent her husband from knowing the truth. To the outside world, everything appeared normal. The couple had been married for 7 years, and for most of that time, her husband, who was none the wiser, believed that his wife was an ordinary homemaker. She would prepare meals for him, and he would sit down and eat them, never suspecting that they weren't the product of her own efforts. The facade worked well for a time, and Diana felt that she had found the perfect solution to her cooking dilemma. Yet, despite her best efforts, the truth eventually came to light. It was not her husband who discovered her secret at first, rather, it was Diana herself who, in a moment of reflection, realized that she had been living a lie. After all, 7 years is a long time, and no matter how carefully one tries to hide something, eventually the truth has a way of surfacing. Her husband, who had never suspected anything, was the first to notice something was amiss. He began reflecting on the years that they had spent together, thinking back to various instances when the meals Diana served seemed perhaps a little too perfect, or too identical to store-bought dishes. The thought had crossed his mind occasionally, but he had never taken it seriously enough to confront her about it. Eventually, however, the truth became undeniable. Diana's husband, through his own observations and reflections, realized that his wife had been passing off pre-made meals as her own creations all these years. It was a shock to him, as he had never suspected Diana of hiding something like this. It wasn't that he disliked store-bought food, rather it was the deception that had bothered him. It was a betrayal, albeit a small one in the grand scheme of things, but it was enough to cause him to feel disappointed and hurt. At first, Diana tried to brush it off. She told her husband that it had been just a small mistake, or perhaps a moment of weakness. She assured him that it wasn't a big deal and that it wasn't something to dwell on. She even promised that things would change and they could work together to improve their cooking skills. In an attempt to restore harmony and fix the situation, Diana suggested that they both learn how to cook together. This seemed like a reasonable solution at the time. Her husband, wanting to save their relationship and move past the issue, agreed to the idea. They could take cooking classes, watch tutorials online, or experiment in the kitchen together. It would be an opportunity for them to bond and strengthen their relationship, and perhaps, over time, her husband's hurt feelings would subside. For a while, it seemed like the plan was working. Diana and her husband began cooking together, and it was clear that they both had a lot to learn. It wasn't always easy, and there were definitely some awkward moments in the kitchen as they fumbled their way through recipes. But Diana felt a sense of relief that at least her husband wasn't harboring any ill feelings towards her anymore. They were in this together, learning and growing as a couple. However, it wasn't long before Diana fell back into her old habits. Cooking together had not provided the long-term solution she had hoped for. The stress of managing the household, the pressure of cooking every day, and her own reluctance to embrace the kitchen led her to make the decision that would eventually unravel everything she had worked so hard to hide. A month later, Diana was caught once again. This time, she had gone even further than simply buying store-bought side dishes. Diana had managed to steal her younger sister-in-law's cooking and claimed it as her own. She presented a meal that was clearly not of her own making, passing it off as her own creation once more. Her husband was understandably upset. Not only had she lied again, but she had taken it to an entirely new level. The fact that she had stolen her sister-in-law's cooking was seen as a betrayal within the family, especially since it had gone beyond the boundaries of just her marriage. It was an act of dishonesty that involved more than just her relationship with her husband. It affected the entire family dynamic. This incident was the final straw for Diana's husband. He had tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but now it seemed clear that her actions were deliberate and calculated. The betrayal had escalated from a simple lie to something far more damaging. Her husband felt deeply hurt and disappointed, and he struggled to understand why Diana had chosen to continue with the deception despite everything they had been through. As the situation unraveled, the discussion quickly turned to accusations. The family began to gossip about Diana's behavior, and some members even referred to her actions as a form of bullying toward her younger sister-in-law. Diana's behavior toward her sister-in-law, who had been innocent in all of this, was seen as an attempt to belittle her or steal the spotlight, especially in the context of family gatherings where everyone was expected to contribute in some way. It wasn't long before Diana's husband made the difficult decision to divorce her. The trust that had been broken could not be repaired, and the emotional toll of the lies and deceit was too much for him to bear. The marriage had been built on a foundation of dishonesty, and that foundation had crumbled under the weight of repeated betrayals. After the divorce, Diana's husband moved on with his life, and Diana was left to face the consequences of her actions. She realized too late that the secrets she had kept and the lies she had told had cost her more than just her marriage. Her relationships with her family were strained, and her reputation was tarnished. Liz emerged as the true beneficiary of the situation. She moved in with her father's family and began living a life that was free from the tension and lies that had plagued Diana's marriage. Liz was able to focus on her own well-being, and more importantly, she was surrounded by the love and support of her husband's family. Growing up in a home where she was cared for and nourished by her grandmother's homemade meals, Liz thrived. The warmth and comfort of her new life contrasted sharply with the coldness that she had to endure with her mother, Diana. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
I've just finished work.
Chuck, good job today. You're having dinner at home, right?
Yeah, I wasn't invited out for drinks today, so I'll head straight home.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, there's something I need you to do for me.
What's up?
Have you ever talked to my boss's kids? They go to the same kindergarten as Bri.
Yeah. Bree's in a different class, so I haven't really talked to the moms. But I know that the section chief's younger son is in the tulip class, and the assistant manager's daughter is in the dandelion class, right?
That's right. So, you know how there's going to be a school play at the kindergarten, right?
Yeah, I know about that.
Well, I've already agreed to have you make the costumes for their kids who are in the play.
Huh?
The section chief's son is playing the role of Lincoln, and the assistant manager's daughter is playing a general. Both are major roles, so apparently the costumes are quite complicated and require a lot of work.
Hold on a second.
Huh?
Bree might not be the lead, but she's playing a soldier of the South, and I'm already working on her costume. Adding 2 more costumes for the lead roles? There's clearly not enough time. It's just impossible, no matter how you look at it.
No, that's not true. You went to a sewing school, didn't ya? Stop acting like you're hesitating. Making costumes for a kindergarten play should be a piece of cake for ya.
I'm telling you, it's not going to be a piece of cake. That's why I'm saying it's impossible. And what's with deciding this without even consulting me? I'm running a sewing business here, you know. Technically, I should be charging for this service.
Come on, don't be like that. The payment is a priceless increase in my reputation from my boss.
What?
If we get this right, there's no doubt that my stock will rise. As a professional in sewing, I'm counting on you to do this right without cutting any corners.
No way.
Huh?
Why should I have to do this? Usually it's the parents who make the costumes for their own kids. Unless there's some special reason, I wouldn't take on this kind of task.
What are you talking about? You made the costumes for Sammy at your sister's place, didn't you, a couple of years ago?
That's exactly the special reason I'm talking about. It was when my sister broke her arm and my brother-in-law was on a long overseas business trip. That's why I had no choice but to take it on.
So this time it's pretty much the same, right? Apparently the section chief's wife and the assistant manager's wife aren't very good at sewing. And recently they've been saying things like, "This is so difficult, what should I do?"
And?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure that for costumes that are difficult to make, it was fine to just modify ready-made clothes. And the kindergarten didn't require everything to be handmade.
No, the reality is they're stuck and don't know what to do. That basically means they can't sew, right? In that case, it's just like when my sister couldn't make the costumes because of her broken arm.
What are you even saying? That's totally different. My sister isn't good at sewing, but she managed to do some on her own, even with a broken arm. But the wives of your bosses aren't in some situation where they can't even start making the costumes, right?
Exactly, the fact that they can't sew is the situation I'm talking about.
Are you even listening to me? Did you seriously decide to just dump this on me without even asking? Just because I'm your wife and we're both moms at the same kindergarten, it's honestly not okay for you to just throw this at someone you've never even talked to before.
Hey, what's with that attitude? The person in question is the wife of my boss. That's disrespectful. Think about your position before you say anything.
I'm just sharing my thoughts from a mother's perspective.
I have a position at the company too. Once I take something on, it's only right to see it through to the end as a matter of integrity.
Then why don't you just do it yourself?
What?
You're the one who agreed to this, not me.
In that case, I won't be coming home tonight.
Huh?
I'm not coming home until you reflect on what you've done and say, "I was wrong." I'd be happy to make the costumes. You'll have to kneel down and apologize.
Oh, really? Then I don't have to prepare dinner for you tonight.
What?
I'm busy right now taking care of Bree until she falls asleep, so you can just take care of your own dinner tonight.
Honestly, I'll give you some time to cool off and think about what you've done.
I can't believe this. I work hard every day, and now I'm being asked to take on someone else's responsibilities because of some random request that wasn't even discussed with me? I am tired, Chuck. I just want to rest and not have to deal with something so ridiculous. And on top of that, you're telling me it's for your reputation at work? I didn't sign up for this. This isn't part of the deal. Chuck, you always think everything can be solved by just doing it, but I am not just some puppet who can be controlled. I have my own work, my own time, and my own responsibilities. I'm not here to play the role of your personal costume maker. You don't even seem to understand how hard it is to juggle everything and still do something for someone else without a second thought. You're asking me to take on more without even asking if I'm okay with it. It's exhausting just thinking about it.
Hey, have you had enough time to reflect on your actions yet?
What are you talking about?
I figured Bri must have gone to bed by now, so I thought you would have had time to sit down and really think about what's been going on. After all, you had some time while things were quiet, right?
If this is about the costumes, I've already made it clear. I'm not making them.
You're still going on about that?
Well, yes, because it's already been decided. I am not going to make them.
Decided?
Yes. And after everything that happened, I went ahead and consulted with the kindergarten teachers. They took care of informing your superiors about the change.
Wait, what?
I spoke with the wives of your superiors, and after discussing things with them, we decided that it's better if I don't take on making the costumes.
What is this? Why are you making decisions on your own without even discussing it with me?
Before you go blaming me, I think you should have actually listened to what your superiors had to say before making up your mind about everything.
Huh?
It turns out the wives of your superiors weren't saying it was too hard to do. When they mentioned how challenging it was, they were actually saying it's difficult, but it's a challenge they were willing to take on. They were just figuring out how to approach it.
What?
Apparently, while the two wives were chatting over tea, they discussed the costumes. When your boss and the other manager were talking about it on their way home, you interrupted them without realizing they had already been discussing the issue. You went on about how I'm a professional, that I went to fashion school, and how it was a good idea to just give the task to me, saying I'd handle it. Then, when they tried to correct you, you kept brushing them off, saying things like, "It's fine and don't worry about it," and left quickly. Is that what happened?
Wait, what?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. You just barged in and didn't listen to their side of things. When they realized you had misunderstood the situation, they tried to explain it to you, but you just kept interrupting and reassuring them that it would be fine. You didn't even give them a chance to correct you before leaving.
Oh, really?
Yes, and here's the kicker. They actually planned to contact me themselves about it because they felt they needed to clarify things. But then the kindergarten called me because they heard I wanted to discuss it, so we got in touch.
Are you serious?
Yes, they were already planning to reach out to me. And then, since they had heard I wanted to talk to them, I ended up calling them. I had to apologize on behalf of my husband for him jumping the gun and not understanding the situation properly. I told your superiors I was sorry for the confusion.
Wait, what?
Yes, and not only did I apologize on your behalf, but they also apologized to me, saying they were sorry they couldn't stop you from rushing into things.
Wait, they apologized to you?
Yes, they did. And on top of that, they said something else. They mentioned that you have a tendency to act impulsively without listening to the people around you, and that it's becoming a problem. Apparently, you've been reprimanded for it before. They even expressed concern that your impulsive behavior could lead to you making a major mistake at work. They're genuinely worried about the impact it could have on your career.
Are you serious?
Yes, I had no idea either. I never realized that your tendency to act without thinking was causing such a big issue at work. I honestly feel bad for you, but at the same time, this needs to be addressed before it gets out of hand. You need to start paying attention to how you approach things, or it's going to continue causing problems.
I didn't mean for it to get this bad.
I know you didn't mean for things to get out of hand, but unfortunately, that's exactly why it's so problematic. When you act impulsively, it often makes the situation worse, even when that's the last thing you intend to do.
I don't think it's that bad.
But it is that bad. Look at what just happened with this whole costume debacle. You misinterpreted everything, acting on your own assumptions, and caused a big mess without taking the time to listen or consider anyone else's perspective.
Oh, I see.
And what's worse is that you wasted everyone's time, including mine. We could have avoided all of this if you had just communicated with the right people and listened to their input. But instead, you pushed ahead without thinking it through.
I didn't mean to waste anyone's time.
I know, but that's the consequence of acting on impulse. Now you've put us all in an awkward position, and we're going to have to undo the mess you've created.
So what should I do now?
Well, first things first, you need to apologize to both your boss and the other manager tomorrow. They need to hear it from you that you realize your mistake and that you understand the consequences of rushing into things like this.
And after that?
You also need to take a hard look at how you act in the future. You can't keep rushing into situations without considering what others are thinking. You've got to stop acting impulsively, or else you're going to keep sabotaging your own success.
So, I have to apologize for everything?
Yes, and don't just say a quick sorry and move on. You need to really explain to them that you understand the problem and that you're committed to doing better. If you don't show them that you've learned from this, nothing will change.
I see. I really messed up, didn't I?
Yes, you did, but that doesn't mean you can't fix it. You just need to stop acting impulsively and learn to think before you act. If you do that, you can avoid making this kind of mistake again.
Okay, I understand now. I'll make sure to apologize properly tomorrow. I don't want this to happen again.
Good. Well, I'm glad you understand. Now you really need to make sure you work on this behavior. Otherwise, it's going to keep causing issues for you and everyone else around you. The next day, my husband seemed to have been thoroughly reprimanded by his two bosses. When he returned home, he immediately dropped to his knees and apologized to me. His expression was filled with genuine remorse, and his deep brow reflected just how much he understood the gravity of the situation. It wasn't just the standard apology one might expect. There was real humility in the way he approached me. He had clearly been given quite a talking to at work. The way his bosses had reacted was serious, and I could tell he wasn't just apologizing to fulfill some obligation, but because he truly recognized the mistake he had made. When I went to pick up our children from the kindergarten later that day, I had the chance to meet with the other wives, as they were there too. After a few moments of small talk, I apologized to them for the incident that had occurred, acknowledging how uncomfortable it must have made everyone. I explained that it wasn't something I had expected to happen, and I genuinely felt sorry for the disruption it had caused. It was important to me that they knew I took full responsibility for the situation and that I wanted to maintain a good relationship with all of them, especially since we were going to be seeing each other regularly from then on. It wasn't just about being polite, it was about ensuring that any tension or awkwardness was addressed, so everyone could move forward. The whole incident actually turned out to be a turning point for me. While the situation had started out as uncomfortable, it ended up bringing the wives closer together. It became a kind of bridge that allowed me to interact with them more, and before long, I had formed a friendship with both of them. They were both very approachable and warm-hearted women, which made the transition from awkward strangers to genuine friends much easier. There was absolutely no sense of distance between us, no feeling that I was only being included because I was the wife of their husband's subordinate. They treated me like an equal from the very start, and I greatly appreciated that. We started spending more time together, chatting about everything from family matters to personal interests. It was nice to be able to socialize with them without any underlying tension or discomfort. One of the women, the wife of the section chief, was particularly easy to talk to. It turned out that she worked in a neighboring department as a part-time employee, which was an interesting bit of information I wouldn't have known otherwise. As we talked, I realized how much we had in common. Despite the different roles we had in the workplace, it was funny because while we were discussing our husband's work and how their respective departments were structured, I began to get a clear picture of what went on at my husband's workplace. Thanks to our new friendship, I found myself learning more and more about the environment he worked in, and even the things he didn't share with me at home became clear. The more we spent time together, the more I realized how much I appreciated their honesty and openness. I wasn't expecting them to divulge confidential details or insider information, but the little glimpses into their lives and the workplace dynamics helped me understand my husband's challenges a bit more. It also made me more aware of the pressure he was under, and how some of his behaviors, while not excusable, were perhaps a result of that stress. As for the section chief's wife, she was always so positive and kind. We started to exchange advice on different matters, and she shared her experience of balancing work and family life. I was impressed by how much she managed to juggle, and it inspired me to reconsider my own approach to handling responsibilities at home and work. We would often joke about how, despite having full-time jobs, our husbands seemed to take longer to get their acts together than we did. But it was all in good fun, and it made me feel better to know that other women were going through similar experiences. Thanks to these interactions, I ended up learning quite a bit about my husband's work life. I found out about the small yet significant challenges he was facing daily, things that had been hidden from me before. Of course, I didn't directly ask for these details, but little by little the information came to me. I could see how it affected him, and it helped me understand his behavior better, especially in terms of how he reacted to stress. This new understanding also led to a deeper conversation between my husband and me. It wasn't long before we had what I'd call a couples reflection meeting, where we took time to discuss the issues that had arisen and to reflect on what we could both do better. I think my husband found it to be a useful exercise, as it gave him the chance to evaluate where he had gone wrong and to think about how he could improve. During our conversation, he admitted that he had neglected to prioritize certain things at work, which led to the tension that had spilled over into our personal lives. He was grateful for the opportunity to discuss these things openly and for me to not judge him too harshly. It was a positive step in our relationship, allowing both of us to see the other's perspective. Since then, my husband has taken steps to improve himself professionally. He's made a concerted effort to focus more on his work and has been achieving much better results. I've noticed a change in him. He seems more focused and driven, and he no longer lets minor issues distract him as easily. He has begun to take more initiative at his projects, and I can tell that his bosses have already noticed the shift in his attitude. It's not that everything is perfect now, but there's been a noticeable improvement, and I'm proud of the progress he's made. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. Jacob, sorry for texting you while you're busy at work. I know your schedule's packed today and you have a lot to get done this week.
Kristen, what's going on? Is something wrong?
I just found out I need to head over to my parents' house right away. It's a bit of an emergency, I guess.
What happened? Did something happen with your mom or dad?
It's my dad. Apparently he missed a step on the stairs and fell. The neighbor called me to let me know he was taken to the hospital. It may get pretty bad, so I'm going to go see him.
Oh no, that sounds serious. Is he okay?
I'm heading out now to check on him and see how he's doing.
What about Manny? Are you taking him along with you?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I'll bring him with me to the hospital and then to my parents' house.
Are you sure? It sounds like a lot to handle on your own. If you need me to come and help, I can leave work early. It's not a problem.
No, don't worry about it. I know you have that business trip today. Plus, I was told that he didn't hit his head or anything, so it's not a super serious injury. The doctor's already treated him, and it seems like he's doing okay.
Well, that's a relief. Still, it must have been scary for him and for you.
Yeah, it's hard not to worry. But still, I'm a bit concerned about how bad the injury might be. But I figured I'd stop by, check on him, and bring Manny along. Seeing his grandson might help cheer him up a bit.
I think that's a great idea. If you're sure it's not too much trouble for you, it could really brighten his day.
Thanks. I might stay overnight if things seem like they'll take longer.
That's fine. Just take care of your dad and don't stress about anything else.
Thank you. I'll head out now.
Drive safe and let me know if you need anything. Kristen, how is everything over there?
I'm sorry for making you worry. My father, he sprained his ankle. It's not that serious, but it still hurts when he walks. For now, I think I'll stay here for a few more days, just to keep an eye on him.
Oh, I see. Your dad sprained his ankle, huh?
Yes, that's right. Since my mom passed away, living alone during times like this really becomes an inconvenience, doesn't it?
Well, when I rang the doorbell, Manny came running to greet me all hyped up, carrying him on his shoulders, looking all excited.
What?
With the way he was acting, you could probably come back home now, don't you think?
Jacob, what are you talking about?
No, really, that's the line I should be saying here. Apparently you and your secret man were planning to go on a trip alone together, just the two of you or something like that? And you plan to have your father watch Manny for you while you're away?
Wait, hold on. Are you really at my parents' house right now?
Well, yeah.
What about your business trip then? How could you possibly lie about something like that?
I can't believe you're the one saying that to me. By the way, the business trip is real. Things wrapped up a lot sooner than I thought. When I realized that your parents' house is just a 30-minute drive away from my work trip location, I decided to tell my boss about the situation and asked for permission to go off on my own while still being on the trip. And now here we are. By the way, where exactly are you right now?
I'm with a friend.
A friend?
It's Anna, my old friend from back home. You met her at the wedding and you exchanged greetings with her, right?
Oh, that person, right. So why did you make up such a complicated story?
Well, actually, I came on a trip with Anna. When you're busy on your business trip, it's been hard for me to admit that I'm just here having fun.
Using your father's injury as an excuse like that just makes me even more worried, though.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
So who are you really with, then?
Huh? I'm telling you, it's Anna.
Really? You... If you're going to lie, can you at least be a little more careful with the names you use?
But it's true. I know I lied about going on a trip, and that was wrong, but this part is the truth.
Anna isn't with you, though.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because I know for sure that's why.
Huh? What do you mean by that? What is this?
It's a photo that Anna sent me as proof. This man, he's Anna's husband, Kevin, right? And this is the waiting room at the station where you two were planning to go on your affair trip, isn't it?
Wait, hold on a second. How is it that you're even in contact with Anna?
Well, remember the home number you gave me before? I called that one.
But wait, you're supposed to be on a business trip.
I wasn't going to leave the house empty, so before I left, I stopped by and set up call forwarding from the home phone to my cell phone.
Wait, hold on. You can really do that?
Well, I did it, so it must be possible, right? And since Anna knew that you and your man were off on an affair trip, she probably figured I'd be the one answering the phone when she called. So she let me know everything that's been going on.
No way. Anna wouldn't do something like that.
Well, when I asked, I found out Anna had actually come back to her parents' place. It's just 5 minutes from your parents' house, so she came over, and I heard everything from her.
No, that can't be true.
And by the way, I already changed the locks at our place, so you won't be able to get inside anymore.
Huh? You changed the locks while you were on a business trip? That means your whole business trip story must have been a lie, right?
Did you forget who the landlord is?
Wait. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. It's my grandfather. When I explained the situation to him over the phone, he was kind enough to change the locks for me, using his authority as the landlord.
No way. So where am I supposed to go now?
Your dad needs to hurry up and come back here and apologize to me and Manny.
Huh?
Well, even if he apologizes, the divorce is already a done deal.
Divorce?
Why are you so surprised now? You should have seen this coming the moment you decided to cheat. When an affair is discovered, this is what happens. Your spouse finds out and they confront you about it. And of course, it doesn't stop there. You'll be hit with alimony payments, and if you have kids, there's child support as well. As I mentioned, divorce is almost inevitable at this point.
No, divorce? I didn't think this would happen.
And if the person you cheated with is married, then their spouse can also file for alimony.
No, Anna is so kind. She would never do something like that. She's been my best friend for so long. I won't let you scare me with your threats.
Well, I spoke with a lawyer and they're preparing to take action.
What? Let me talk to Anna for a second. It looks like she's blocking my calls.
The lawyer will reach out to you soon.
I know divorce alimony can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Do you think I have that kind of money? Can't you just understand how much pressure this is? Let me talk to Anna right now. Kristen, it's Anna. Anna, this is horrible. Aren't we friends anymore? Once you slept with Kevin, you stopped being my friend. I didn't want to talk to you again, but seeing that you're seriously misunderstanding things, I figured I should correct that at least. Why are you betraying me? Do you even realize what you're saying right now? You're having an affair with my husband. You've betrayed me first, not the other way around. But we've been such close friends, practically like sisters since we were kids. How could you do this to me? So, does that mean you think it's okay to steal my husband from me? Is that what you think? I thought you would understand. I thought you would forgive me. I was hoping you'd see that it's true love and you'd be okay with it. You must be living in some fantasy world. Even friends have boundaries, and you've crossed them without a second thought. This is not something I'll just let slide. How could you do this to me? What kind of person are you to take my husband from me like this? What about you, though? Taking pictures of Kevin and following him around? Does that make you feel better about what you've done? Aren't you ashamed of yourself stalking my husband like this? What's wrong with gathering evidence when I know my husband is having an affair? Do you think I'm supposed to just sit here and let you get away with it? You're right. I don't want to be with Kevin anymore, but I need proof before I make any decisions. The fact that you're accusing me of stalking just proves how little you care about what's really happening. You need to open your eyes, Kristen. Maybe it's because you're so bitter and unattractive that Kevin's lost interest in you. He's just not into you anymore, and that's why he's turned to me. How could you say something so cruel? I'm not charming, but I'm not going to apologize for it. What about you? You're the one who betrayed your marriage first, and now you're trying to make yourself the victim in all this? Do you even realize how selfish you sound? But if you were so interested in someone else, you should have divorced first, don't you think? If you were truly serious about being with Kevin, you should have cleared up your own mess before you started with him. I would have been hurt, yes, but at least I would have understood. But no, you and Kevin didn't bother to end things properly because you started your affair and now you're being blamed for it. You can't just skip over the responsibility that comes with that. It's just a matter of order, that's all. Just like when someone ends up pregnant before marriage, it's just one of those things that happens sometimes, like getting married too soon. So why does it matter? No, it's not the same. Being pregnant out of wedlock is controversial, sure, but at least those people are taking responsibility. An affair, on the other hand, is illegal. It's a violation of trust, and it's morally wrong. That's what you're doing. Illegal? Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Affairs are against the law. There are consequences. You should look it up yourself. You're just making this up. It's not made up. You can check on your smartphone. There are tons of resources about legal consequences of affairs. You'll see that it's not just a moral issue, it's a legal one. No, that's not true. Kevin and I are in love. This is real love, and it's not an affair. How could you say something like that? If you really believe that, why didn't you just divorce Jacob first? Why didn't you handle things properly before you started an affair with Kevin? If you cared about him the way you say you do, you would have respected his relationship with me and dealt with your marriage first. We couldn't wait. We just couldn't wait any longer for our hearts to align. It wasn't something we could control. Our hearts were just in sync, and everything else didn't matter. So you're telling me that you couldn't use your brain and waited until everything was settled first? You let your instincts take over and acted without thinking? That's not love. That's selfishness. You didn't care about anyone but yourselves. That's so mean. I'm not trying to be cruel, but I'm just telling you the truth. You chose your instincts over your responsibilities, and that's what you did. You and Kevin need to face the consequences of your actions. You can't just blame everyone else when you've crossed so many lines. But you, Kristen, you still can't seem to admit what you've done is wrong. You're in complete denial about the damage you've caused. No matter how much you try to justify it, this affair was wrong. No, it's not. This isn't an affair. We're in love, and you need to understand that. Well, let me explain it to you in terms you can understand. When you're married and you're involved with someone else, that is what's called adultery. It's a violation of the vows you took. Now, Jacob and we both have the right to ask for alimony from you and Kevin. That's the legal process. Wait, no, that's not fair. You can't just do that to us. Yes, I can, because this is the consequence of what you've done. You don't get to break the rules and then cry when there are consequences. You have to take responsibility for your actions, Kristen. So, are you done now? I think this pointless argument has gone on long enough. You're not going to change my mind, and I don't think I can change yours. Anna!
Kristen, it's Jacob now. Can you hear me out for a minute?
What is it?
Anna's right. Everything she's said, it's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. She's said everything I wanted to say, and I'm glad she did. It's a shame that you still don't understand.
Jacob, I thought you would understand me. You've always been there for me. Why can't you see things from my perspective?
No, I don't understand, and I'm not going to. It's a mystery how someone who's involved in an affair can act so clueless. Do you even realize the mess you've created?
Jacob!
Look, I don't think someone like you who's completely lost touch with reality should be raising Manny. I'm taking Manny, and I'm gonna raise him properly.
Wait, what? You can't take him away from me.
We'll settle this through the lawyers. You need to face the consequences now, Kristen.
Wait, no! You can't just do this to me. Please don't take him.
Before long, both Anna and I got divorced. Kristen, despite her numerous objections and resistance, eventually had no choice but to agree to the divorce. Her father, my father-in-law, had become extremely angry, and with a forceful punch, he made Kristen cry and reluctantly agree to the separation. It was a moment that was both heartbreaking and overwhelming, as Kristen was left no room to negotiate or refuse anymore. The emotional weight of it all seemed to hit her in that instant, and her defiance crumbled under the pressure of her father's wrath. As for the custody of our son, after much discussion and persuasion from my father-in-law, the decision was made and I was granted full custody. It was a decision that, in the end, seemed right for both the child and me. My father-in-law, who had a certain influence over Kristen due to their past history, had made sure to sway the decision in my favor, despite Kristen's emotional protests. I did not feel victorious in that moment, but rather relieved, as I knew that Manny would be in a safer, more stable environment. Kristen's chaotic lifestyle was not conducive to raising a child, and that fact was something I could not ignore. However, the aftermath of this divorce was not an easy one for Kristen. After the separation, she and her affair partner found themselves in an increasingly dire financial situation. The alimony and child support payments, which amounted to more than $100,000 combined, caused their household to plunge into financial turmoil. Kristen, who had already been living on the edge with her reckless behavior, was now forced to face the consequences of her actions. The financial burden of these payments drained her resources and added a layer of stress that only compounded the emotional turmoil she had been dealing with since the divorce. Incredibly, the relationship between Kristen and her affair partner did not last long after the financial pressures hit. I heard that just a month after they began living together, their relationship came to a sudden and abrupt end. It was clear that the weight of their shared financial difficulties was too much to bear, and their once passionate connection was obliterated by the realities of debt and personal struggles. It was a devastating collapse that reflected how fragile their bond had been from the start. The affair, which had initially seemed like an escape for Kristen, had only compounded her problems and left her with even more to confront. Meanwhile, my father-in-law, who had been deeply offended by Kristen's infidelity, made it clear that he would never forgive her for what she had done. He could not stand the idea of his daughter continuing to live in the house where so many memories of her betrayal had been made. In the wake of our divorce, my father-in-law made the decision to sell the family home and move away, cutting all ties to the past. He didn't want Kristen to have any connection to that place, and to ensure she could not find him, he did not inform her of his new address. He disappeared from her life as quietly as possible, without leaving a trace. As the weeks went by, Kristen's persistence became unbearable. She repeatedly reached out to me, begging for reconciliation, desperate to rekindle the relationship that had once been the center of her life. I could feel her desperation in every message she sent, every phone call she made. But I had made up my mind. There was no going back. The betrayal was too great, and my heart could not allow me to forgive her for the pain she had caused. To escape her relentless pleas, I made the decision to leave the city. I took Manny with me, and we relocated far away to a place where Kristen would no longer be able to contact me as easily. It was a necessary move, both for my own mental health and for the well-being of my son, who needed to be free from the tension and chaos that Kristen continued to bring into our lives. We moved to a distant location, and I started a new job there. The transition was difficult, but it provided the fresh start that I so desperately needed. Now, several years later, I live about a 20-minute drive from my father-in-law's new house. Although we no longer see each other on a daily basis, we still maintain contact. Manny, now much older, is able to visit his grandfather from time to time, and the bond between them remains strong. My father-in-law, despite all the years of tension and emotional pain, has continued to support me and Manny, and his role as grandpa is important to both of us. Even though the divorce was a painful experience, there is a sense of peace that has come from the separation. It's as if, over time, the raw emotions have slowly faded, and now we're left with only the reality of our new lives. I no longer feel the bitterness that once consumed me. Kristen's actions may have torn our family apart, but in some ways they also set us on a path to healing. Manny and I have built a life that is free from the toxicity that once defined our home. We have a routine, a stability that we never had before. Looking back on everything that happened, I can't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the lessons learned. Yes, the divorce was painful, and the emotional scars are still there, but I have gained clarity and understanding from it all. I've learned to prioritize my happiness and well-being, and above all, to protect Manny from the negativity that once clouded our lives. I know that I have the strength to move forward, and that Manny and I will continue to build a life filled with love, security, and stability. As for Kristen, I don't know what the future holds for her, I no longer have any interest in her life or her struggles. She made her choices, and now she must deal with the consequences. The pain she caused will forever be a part of her, just as it will be a part of me. But I've learned that I can't let her actions define my future or my happiness. I'm moving forward, and I'm focused on the future, on providing for Manny and creating a safe and happy life for him. That is what matters now. Despite everything, we have a future ahead of us, and I'm determined to make it as positive as possible.
Fred, thank you so much for today.
Oh, have you made it home?
Yeah, I just got here a little while ago.
I got home not long ago myself. Actually, I need to apologize because I made the restaurant reservation, but not for Christmas Day. I feel so bad about it. I really didn't think I'd get assigned a business trip for both the 24th and 25th. This was supposed to be our first Christmas together, and now it feels kinda empty. Damn it, this stupid company just had to mess things up.
I know, it's definitely disappointing, but if it's work, there's not much we can do. I actually had a fun time just spending the day with my books, so I'm perfectly okay with it.
Hearing that really makes me feel a lot better. It helps me to know you're not upset about it.
I really hope next year we can be together on Christmas Day itself. I don't want this to happen again.
Yeah, I really hope so too. It would be so much better if we could spend the holiday together. Let's make sure of it for next time. All right, since I have to wake up early tomorrow, I should probably get some rest soon.
Yeah, you should probably get some sleep. I'll let you go then.
Thanks again for everything today. It was a great time despite the situation.
Of course. I hope you get some good rest. You need to be well rested for tomorrow. I'll be here if you need anything. Good night, Fred.
Good night. Sleep well.
Jamie, Merry Christmas! Oh, hey, it's still 12 hours away, you know. I know. I couldn't wait to message you, especially since it's been almost half a month since we last talked. Sorry for the sudden message, though. No, it's totally fine. It's just a little unexpected, that's all. So how have you been? Have you been busy lately? Well, yeah, I've actually been really busy with work. My company started offering me some work I can do from home, which is great because I get to be at home with the kids. It's been keeping me pretty occupied, to be honest. Oh, that's great. Balancing work and raising a child must be really tough, but I'm sure you're doing just fine. You've always been good at handling everything, and you seem pretty excited, huh, Sam? I can tell you're in a good mood. Well, of course, it's our first Christmas since getting married, so I'm pretty pumped. I'm actually in the middle of making some Christmas cookies right now. I just got done with baking the sponge cake, too, so if things are moving along, I'm really enjoying it. Speaking of which, isn't January 1st your first wedding anniversary? That's coming up so soon, huh? Exactly. That's another reason I'm so excited. We had to postpone our wedding because I got pregnant and my belly got too big, but I feel really lucky that we were able to line up our marriage registration with the start of the new year. It feels special, you know? How's Grace doing? She's growing up so fast. It feels like she's getting bigger by the day. Speaking of which, didn't you mention that you started dating someone you met at that mixer last month? What are you doing for Christmas? That's actually a bit of a downer. He got called away for a business trip, so we won't be spending Christmas together after all. Oh no! Oh, that's really disappointing. I'm sorry to hear that. I know you were looking forward to it. Yeah, it's really a bummer. But on the bright side, we actually went out for a nice dinner together last night. We went to this restaurant with a beautiful view of the city lights and had a nice French meal. That sounds nice, at least. I'm glad you got to spend some time together. But if you're free later, you and your boyfriend should come over to our place. I'd love to introduce you to my husband. Oh, right. I don't actually know what your husband looks like. Oh, right. I've never actually shown you a picture of him. He's not the best at pictures, though. When he knows he's been photographed, he gets all stiff and tries too hard to look good. He's a little awkward about it, but that's just him. That sounds so like him. But actually, I just took a really cute photo of the two of us in front of the Christmas tree, so I'll send it to you now. Wait, really? You're just sending it like that? Well, I just want to brag a little. Okay, go ahead. I want to see him. Here's my husband. Wait, This guy? Yeah, his name's Fred. I see. So this is him. What? Is there something wrong with Fred? Why do you sound so surprised? Oh, no, it's not that. I'm sorry, I just wasn't expecting that. It's just that, well, there's something I need to tell you in person. Could we meet right now? I really don't want to talk about it over message. Huh? Oh, well, sure, but why? What's going on? I can't really explain it through messages. It's not something that's easy to explain in a text. It's a little more complicated, but it's really important. I really need to talk to you about it face to face. You sound serious. What's going on? Should I be worried? It's just something I need to clear up with you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I really need to see you. Okay, if you say so. How about we meet at the family restaurant in the shopping center around 2 p.m., the one we used to go to after my part-time job? I know it's been a while since we met up, but it's a good place for a chat. That works for me. I'll see you there.
Jamie, good morning. Actually, I finished work earlier than expected. I believe you didn't have any plans today, right? I thought maybe we could have lunch together. If it's convenient for you, we could even spend the evening together. What do you think?
Good morning, Fred. Oh, so you finished your business trip early.
Yep, that's right. I just dropped off the documents for the business trip at the office. They told me I could leave for the day. I think we can meet around noon. Let's spend Christmas together.
But do you think there's anywhere left where we can get a reservation at this late hour?
I'll try to find somewhere, don't worry. If it's okay with you, how about we just grab some quick food and cookies, then head to a hotel? What do you think?
Wait. If that's the case, I'd prefer to go to your place.
My place?
Yes, I've never been there, after all. Since it's Christmas, I'll cook for us.
Well, my place is a bit of a mess.
Why?
The place is kind of untidy. If you're gonna come over, I'd have to clean up first, wouldn't I?
Oh, come on, I can clean up.
No.
What's wrong? Is there a reason you can't invite me over?
Well, like I said, my place is messy.
I'll clean it up.
No, that's not it.
What is it then? Do you have a reason for not wanting me to come over?
It's just that it's a place you don't go to uninvited.
So is there really a reason you can't invite me?
Oh, no, it's not like that.
Is it because of your wife, Sam, and your daughter, Grace?
Huh?
Well, Sam and Grace are out of the house, but there's still evidence of them being there, so it might be awkward for me to come over, you know?
Jamie, what are you talking about? Wait, what? Who are Sam and Grace?
Huh?
Maybe someone told you something strange, but I've only got eyes for you.
You're still lying?
Then what's going on?
Look, Fred, Sam is my friend.
What?
Sam and I used to work at the same store part-time. We'd often have overlapping shifts, so we'd become friends, and we're still close today.
What?
When I was messaging with Sam yesterday, she showed me a picture of you saying, "This is my husband." That's when I realized we were all connected. I had always thought your last name was the same as theirs, and it turns out that wasn't just a coincidence.
Oh, I see now. Sam, she used to be my girlfriend. She even tried to get back together with me not long ago, and I was stuck dealing with it. I didn't want you to get involved with this, but I guess it's too late now.
That's such a lie.
You don't believe me?
Look, Sam and we actually met in person yesterday to talk about everything.
What?
So Sam and Grace aren't at their place right now because they left you and went back to her parents' home.
What?
And now I'm here at her place to explain the situation to her parents. Also, Sam wants to talk to you, so I'm switching with her. Fred, it's Sam.
What?
Yes. You can believe it or not, but I'm going to move things along. You must have noticed that Grace and I weren't there when you woke up this morning, right? I thought you'd at least check in on us, but you didn't. Instead, you suddenly call me up for a Christmas date? What kind of nerve do you have?
Well, I thought...
Anyway, I'm getting a divorce.
What? No, wait a minute.
Do you really think you can stop this?
Because isn't a father necessary for raising Grace?
You've been pretending to be single, hitting on women at parties while having a wife and kid at home, and now you're acting like a father? I don't think so.
That's a different issue. This is about us.
No, it's not. When you cheat on your wife, making a family and a woman a fool, that's all one big problem. And to think you even went after my friend.
It's just a coincidence, though.
Doesn't matter if it's a coincidence or not. You still deceived Jamie.
Wait, hold on. What is this? You two are conspiring against me?
What?
So you and Grace are like rivals for my love, right? Even if you're friends, shouldn't you be enemies in this situation?
If Jamie knew I was married and still decided to date me, you'd be stuck in a mess right now. But you pretended to be single, right?
Well,
Jamie, she's been hurt too. As soon as she found out the truth, she came to me, apologized, and even gave me evidence. At that point, I have no reason to oppose Jamie.
What? No, but...
No matter how you explain it, you betrayed your wife and played with another woman's feelings. That's the fact.
But...
What? You still have an excuse to make?
I'm the one who's your husband and Grace's father.
And so what? Well, at this rate, talking over messages isn't going to solve anything. Let's get this divorce moving.
Wait!
You don't need to worry about Grace. I just returned to work, so I'm financially stable, and I have plenty of support from my parents. Even if we divorce, I'm not worried at all.
Wait!
I'd like to wrap this up by the end of the year, so please cooperate.
What? Today's Christmas! Why would you want to make such a bad memory on a day like this? Come on, just let it go. And now can you let me talk to Jamie?
Jamie? Of course, she's going to be leaving you as well.
What?
Well then, I'll be getting in touch with you again soon, through a lawyer, of course.
Wait a minute! Wait!
Just shut up already. You've already dragged so many people into this mess. You've hurt Jamie, you've hurt Grace, and now you're trying to make it all about you again. You need to stop, Fred. Seriously.
What are you talking about? What do you think I'm doing? I'm trying to fix everything. I'm trying to make this right. It's not like I didn't make mistakes. I'll admit that. But don't you see? I'm trying to make up for it all.
Make up for it? How can you possibly make up for all the lies, Fred? You've been living a double life. All the while you've been telling me one thing and living a completely different reality. I trusted you. I believed in you. And now you want me to just forget all of it? Just pretend like nothing happened?
Sam,
Goodbye, Fred. I am done with your sorry ass.
Sam!
After that, I ended things with Fred without ever facing him again. Fortunately, I hadn't shared the location of my home with him. My focus had been entirely on job hunting, and so I didn't have to worry about any kind of stalking or unwanted attention from him. I had made sure to keep my personal information private, particularly the place where I was living. This was something I had learned the hard way over the years, keeping certain boundaries in place to ensure my safety and peace of mind. With everything that had happened, it was important to have that distance, not just physically, but emotionally as well. I had spent a lot of time thinking about the relationship, trying to make sense of everything, but once I made the decision, I knew it was for the best. There was no need to keep engaging with someone who had caused me so much distress. I'd already endured enough, and I wasn't about to continue to put myself through any more unnecessary heartache. I had to draw a line, and that's exactly what I did. The peace I felt after making that decision was something I hadn't experienced in a long time, and it was something I realized I truly needed. Sam, too, finalized her divorce by the end of the year. Like me, Sam had been through her own emotional turmoil. She had struggled for a long time, unsure of what the future held, and was still trying to come to terms with everything. Her marriage had been full of its own challenges, and even though she had known for some time that the relationship was over, actually making the decision to go through with the divorce was not something that came easily. But by the time we had reached the end of the year, she had managed to find the strength to move on. We had supported each other through this, sharing stories, giving advice, and just being there for one another when we needed it the most. While I never asked Sam for specifics about the alimony or child support details, it seems that the amount was considerable. Sam had been very careful in making sure she wasn't taken advantage of during the divorce. She had fought for what she was owed, and from what I gathered, she made sure to get it all paid in one lump sum without leaving room for any further complications. She didn't want to have to deal with ongoing legal battles or the stress of chasing down payments. She was done with all of it, and I respected her decision to handle things in a way that gave her the closure she needed. Sam had been through a lot, and I could see how much relief she felt once everything was finalized. It was like a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. For the first time in a long while, she felt like she could have finally started living again. Without the shadow of her past hanging over her, it was a liberating feeling, one that I was starting to understand myself. As for Fred, it seems that somehow the details of what had happened between us were leaked to his workplace. It was strange how quickly information like that could spread, especially when it was something so personal. Given his line of work, where maintaining the company's reputation was critical, it seemed that the matter was now a potential issue of trust. Word had somehow gotten out about the circumstances of his personal life, and it appeared that it was starting to affect his professional reputation. As a result, it seemed that he was subtly encouraged to resign. I'm not sure if he had been outright told to leave, but it was clear that the company didn't want to risk its reputation by keeping someone who had become a liability. In some ways, I felt that Fred had brought this upon himself. He had been dishonest and reckless, and now he was facing the consequences of his actions. It was hard for me to feel any sympathy for him after everything that had happened. The lies, the betrayal, the way he had treated me, it had all left deep scars. Part of me was glad to see him facing some form of retribution, even if it wasn't as severe as what he truly deserved. But at the same time, another part of me couldn't help but wonder if things could have been different. Could he have been a better person? Could he have changed? The questions lingered in my mind, but I quickly pushed them away. I realized that dwelling on them wouldn't change anything. What mattered now was how I chose to move forward, not how Fred was dealing with the fallout of his own choices. So, all things considered, this turned out to be a miserable Christmas for both Sam and me. Not only had we both been through such personal upheaval, but the timing also made it feel like an extra burden. The holiday season, which is supposed to be about joy and togetherness, only seemed to highlight how much we had lost and how uncertain everything felt. Christmas, for me at least, was a time of reflection, of looking back on the year and wondering where things had gone wrong, where we had failed and what we could have done differently. But in the end, it didn't matter. Christmas was, at best, a reminder of the pain we were each going through, and at worst, it felt like an extension of the emotional chaos we were already dealing with. Despite all the negative feelings surrounding the holiday, there was still a small flicker of hope within me. I knew that this difficult time wouldn't last forever. Sam and I both know that we would eventually find our way out of the darkness. It was just a matter of time. However, the start of the new year offered a slight glimmer of hope. I made a promise to Sam that we would attend a New Year's Eve party together as a way of cleansing ourselves from the previous year's troubles. It was a small gesture, but one that felt important. An opportunity to leave behind the dark days and try to start fresh. We both needed something to look forward to, and even though the future was still uncertain, the idea of moving forward together, even if just for a night, felt like the first step in a long journey of healing. We'd been through so much individually, and our situations, though different, had left us with a shared understanding of what it means to rebuild. For Sam, the divorce had been a long time coming, but the process of untangling herself from that life had been no less painful. There had been years of emotional baggage, of trying to make things work when they were clearly falling apart. And in the end, she had to let go, but doing so was incredibly difficult. But of course, we're not going to let the memories of Fred get in our way, and come New Year's Eve, Sam and I have plans to spend the whole day together with one another celebrating our fresh starts.